Hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it is the Legacy Leadership Show with Adrian and Tom. How you doing, Adrian?
I am great, and we are so happy to have Melia with us today. This is going to be a fun show, isn't it?
Oh, man. You know what? I love this woman, and I love her sidekick, Mike, and I just think she is extraordinary. Who do we have next week before we even get out of here? Because that's kind of cool.
Tell him.
Ivan Meisner and Brian Hilliard. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
And both of these guys, Meisner just got back from the Antarctica. As you know, he's the head of BNI, and he is not going to be anywhere near the guest that Kim is today, but he is going to be pretty doggone good. And then the following week, we've got that guy named Joe Soto. And then I think we've got Kim Kiyosaki starting out the new year. So we are going to rock it and roll it on this new format. And the new format is less Tom Chenault pandering to the guests with meaningless questions and not so genuine compliments. And we are turning into deeper thinkers as a result of feedback from him, Richard Brooke, a lot of people that say, Tom, cut the fluff, get serious. So we've been selecting guests that are that have done unbelievably well in the network marketing business or in business as a rule, as you know, like Mark Victor Hansen last week and his beautiful wife, Crystal. And what we want to do is elevate the conversation. And what I love about Kim, I know a lot of $1 million earners in network marketing. I mean, I do a ton of them. I know they're friends of mine, but finding one that has done so much more than make that money to make the world a better place is few and far between. People talk about it, but rarely do you meet somebody working it 24/7. And my hat's off to this woman and what they're doing. They live down in the middle of Mexico. We're going to get down and visit them one of these days. Yes, but take it away, little buddy.
That's the real reason that we needed to interview Kim, is that we needed to make sure that our invite is really it had to be rock solid to get down there. The life you guys are living, every time that Mike posts a video of what you guys are up to, it is incredible. And so, Kim, it's great to have you here.
Wait a minute. Our barker's already barking.
I know.
Richard Brooke has already told us, you're talking too much, Tom. Please let Kim have the microphone. So take it away, Adrian.
All right. Kim, great to have you here. How are you doing?
Awesome. Muy bien, gracias, as I should say from Mexico, right? I'm doing really great. Thanks for inviting me. I'm honored to be on the show.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and I'm going to have to dust off my English to Spanish dictionary, but that will be for another day. So, Kim, it's been fun just getting to learn a little bit of your story, and you really, you grabbed hold of the network marketing profession from a pretty young age. And so talk about your early career and how you got the vision to jump out of a traditional role and into network marketing so early in your life.
Sure. Well, I think the biggest thing for me was I saw my parents, having jobs and putting food on the table and shelter over our head and stuff like that, but they didn't really love what they did. They didn't love it. And I wanted to love what I do. I wanted to also be able to travel and have time freedom. And I just saw them bogged down sometimes. As a young kid, I guess I was pretty aware of that. I don't know, but it seemed like it. And then my mom, when she got to me, what I believe was her career, she was a massage therapist and esthetician, but she didn't do that till she was in her 50s. And then she got an autoimmune, and that prevented her from being able to do it consistently. And she loved doing it. So for me, I just said, you know what, I want to do what I love to do and then be able to live where I want, because I definitely knew I didn't want to live in Canada forever. So I worked a couple, I graduated from high school. I was the first one to graduate from high school in my family. Yay, there's a couple of us now. And then I didn't want to go to college because I hated high school. I figured it was going to be really cool to have a boss and a briefcase and a job and a paycheck. And then I worked for the Bank of Montreal and Bell Canada, two huge companies in Canada. And I just felt the cutthroat right away. Like, I was like, I thought this would be cool, and then I felt like everybody was telling me what to do and I didn't want to do it. And I was that girl at work that if it was somebody's birthday, like if it was Tom's birthday and we could decorate his desk, I would be like, hey, I'll go decorate it. And like, take 5 hours to do it without having to work. I was that kind of girl. I still did everything properly, but I was, I always call myself, I was a rebel without a cause. But I feel like I'm a rebel with a cause now.
There we go. I love that. And so how you were like in your early 20s when you got exposed to network marketing?
Yeah. So basically I hated my life. And when I was exposed to network marketing, I was introduced to my boyfriend's aunt, actually an uncle at the time was introduced me to network marketing, and I really didn't get it, but they took me to a meeting and I still didn't get it. And then they took me to a different meeting with a different company, because we know how some people move to different companies, and I got it. And I was ever since then I've been in. So, I was 23 years old, very green, but what I loved about it the most was the personal development, because I needed it. And so that's what kept me in, even when I wasn't making so much money at first. That's what kept me in, because it was the people, and they cared about you, and the goals, and how I could better myself to become attractive to other people. So that's what I was really, really turned on to.
That's amazing. And so do you remember, was there a shift for you, whether from a personal development perspective, or like where did it really, sort of turn over, right? Because like when you're in your early 20s, you get the vision, but especially, this is like before a huge, before internet marketing was a big thing, probably even harder to get taken seriously as a young, a really young person trying to get it going. And so where was that kind of shift for you where success started to show up?
Well, it was definitely difficult. I was one of the first distributors in Canada for the company I was with too. So that to put another challenge. But what's interesting, Adrian, is that didn't help me at the very beginning, was thinking like that. Like thinking, oh, I'm new and I was young and I had all these disadvantages, until somebody told me those are all your advantages. Like, you're young. You're not the 40-year-old who heard about it for the first time. You're the 23-year-old now. Now, by the time you're 40, you can be a millionaire. And, my mind shifted like that. But what happened to me before was I dabbled in a little bit of modeling on top of my corporate job. So when I went into modeling and I was getting paid a lot more money, I was like, ding, ding, ding. There's way more better ways to make money out there than at this corporate job. But I knew I didn't want to do modeling. So that's when I went on the search. So that was my shift, as in I can make money without having to go to college or, university. And then when I got in to the industry, again, I thought that I had a disadvantage. Once I turned that into an advantage, and I really came from that mindset, my posture changed, my confidence changed. Of course, the personal development was helping me change. So that's how I believe that I became successful, was when I just shifted that thought.
Yeah, there's such a nugget right there, because for wherever you are in life, your tendency is to assume, oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, I'm too fat. Oh, I'm too skinny. Oh, I'm too credentialed. Oh, I'm not credentialed enough, whatever it is. And it's all a bunch of baloney, right? Because the truth is that all of those things are advantages if you see them as such, and you are able to kind of make that shift. And so I just think that's a really powerful thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And who you are and where you've come from and where you're going. I want to talk a little bit about the process that you see. You got into your company 23 years ago. And what I'm trying to tell everybody is never quit, because she never quit. They changed their name. They went private. They went public. They went private. They changed their comp plan. They have reinvented themselves over and over and over again. And a lot of good people left. And Kim and a few friends of mine stuck around. And all I'm going to tell you, and the quote has been attributed to Richard Brooke and to Al Schreider, and they both say the other guy said it, but what they basically said was, find the next company you're going to have all kinds of problems with and never quit, which I think is profound stuff, don't you?
Yes.
Because you just stuck around, and here you are at the top of the mountain, so to speak. Obviously, there's a long way up for you to go if you want to, but you never quit. You stayed the course. You made the main thing, which was the people in your organization, and the rest is history. And there's so many people that are just wandering generalities that are going, well, I'm going to join 5 companies just to be on the safe side. No, that's joining 5 companies is being on the unsafe side. get in there, get pregnant, and go, right?
I like it. Oh, I like it. No, it's so true. It's so true. I mean, it's so funny because it feels weird to say I've been with it, with the company for 23 years. I'm like, it doesn't seem like 23 years. And it is amazing in this industry. I mean, I'm a legend at 48 years old in my company. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
to be a legend, right? I love it. But for me, I'm sticking around. Of course, I love what we do, but I love the people. And I'm here for the people, and I'm not going to leave my people, and I'm not going to that's just what this is just my philosophy. And I know that if I go somewhere else, I'm going to have to work a lot harder. and I don't necessarily want to do that. I mean that in a very positive way, but you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But I think that there speaks volumes for people who do stick around. Stick and stay, you'll get your pay is what they say. And I can darn toot, and that's exactly what I did here. But of course, you have to do the activity, right? You can't just stick and stay and get paid. You got to do something.
One of the most important things is building a culture, building a system, and having a mission. And your old buddy John Milton Fogg asked me, there it is on the screen, to ask you what you think about that, how important it is to have a team with a mission, a culture, and a system.
100%. I mean, 100%. Listen, there's going to be ups and downs, and like you said, in your corporation, at the home office, right, or wherever they are, and you need to be able to, have that culture in your team and that mission. I mean, it's just one of those things we like to have fun. That's one of our missions. We love finances, and we love our family. Our team is called the Melia family. I mean, that's what we are. That's our name. And so, our mission is to really go create as many people who want to be stay-at-home mom and dads, or to be able to live a life I call work from anywhere, right? One of my business partners lives in Panama. I live in Mexico. The other one lives in Florida. We definitely work from anywhere. So, just the culture, we've built a lot of culture in our team, which means we've played a lot of games. We've done a lot of sports together. We've done just really creative things during COVID on Zooms and stuff like that. And it's been a blast. It's been so much fun to hang out with our family. I see them more than my family sometimes now. That's the truth. Sometimes I see them a lot more than I see my actual family.
We're coming up to our favorite part, which is the commercial break with the Genesis Communication Network. Everybody loves their commercials. Thank you so much, Ted Anderson, for having us on the radio almost as long as Kim has been in this profession and with her company. We are forever indebted to you. We're going to come back right after this on the Legacy Leadership Show with Adrian and Tom.
Well done, Mr. Radio Host. That
I'm
was
just
good.
all over it, aren't I? But we got John Milton Fogg on here and Richard Brook, at least, and just icons in the profession.
And John, don't you worry. We're going to be talking all about the orphanage. We're going to save that.
That's in the next one, but the next segment, John, because the reason Kim's on here is because she and so many people are making what's going on in Guatemala happen. So yeah, that's why we wanted her to be in this initial iteration of the new show and the new philosophy. And we'll get you on here one of these days, John.
Hi, John.
We love John. He's awesome. All right. So really quick, I hope that at least in Espanol, your nickname for the team is the Familia, because that just seems like a very obvious one to roll with.
But next year you should take them to Amelia Island. That would be unbelievable. All right. We're unbelievably witty.
You're a pun one-upper. All right. So you talked about how important the people are. And on the other side of this commercial, I want to talk a little bit about retention and some of the things that you have done there. But talk about the relationships that you have built and how important those relationships have been for you, Kim.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm a pretty outgoing person in general and social person. So I love people. I think that's a good thing to have when you're in this business, but there's a lot of introverts that do amazing too. Right. But I just have always loved to help people. And for me, the relationships are everything. So, the relationships are one thing. Now, people that are maybe new in the last couple of years, it's Zoom. So you don't necessarily know the color of their carpet or the name of their kids or their dog or stuff like that. But that's what I've always prided ourselves on, is that we've been to their houses, we've been to their barbecue, their family barbecues, we hang out with them, and we do those things. We go bowling, and we do lots of fun things together, because I believe that, you know, the team that plays together stays together. And that might be a little cliche-ish, but it's not. It's true. I mean, we have rarely had many leaders leave our company during times when you would think that, you know, they would leave. Maybe not would think, but there's a lot leaving, and we're blessed with that. It's because it is really because of those solid relationships that my partners and I have. And I learned them from the beginning, but I can tell you that, I mean, at the beginning, very, very beginning, I was like building a team, and then I kind of became management mode and became a boss. And my partner, Mike, basically told me that that's not what you do. And he didn't say it very nicely to me. He was trying to be as blunt as he could, but being nice. And it hurt my feelings, but I understood it. And I understood I was way in this bossy mode. I was young, remember? I was 23, 24, building a team up, doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden was like, how come you guys aren't, you know, working like this and not doing this and all that, all the things that I hated a boss to do to me. And then I realized what I was doing, that's not what we're in. Relationship marketing. We're here about building dreams and people up and not knocking them down. If they're going to do ones and twosies and they're not going to show up to something, don't get mad, just love them anyways. Cause we know it's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the people do 20% of the work, but 20, you know, those 20 percenters, you want to love, well, I mean, the 80 percenters, you want to love them. You want to hold them just as tight as the 20 percenters, maybe not spend as much time with them, but you want to do as much as you can in those relationships. So I just believe, you know, yes, texting's good, but calling a person, Zooming now, FaceTiming, all those things, just connecting personally through whatever you can. A video, I'll send a video to somebody, you know, a personal video. I'll send them a personal development, anything.
All right, let's go back to the show. We're coming back right now. And we're back. It's the Legacy Leadership Radio Show with Adrian. I can't say it very well for some reason, but that's the show we've got. We're getting there. How you doing, Adrian?
I am doing great. This is a really fun conversation. And Kim, we were talking before the break just about how your team is, you even call it the Melia family, that it's really has this family sort of feel and set of values around it. And one of your business partners, Mike, was talking about that you've never lost a six-figure earner to another company. And that's for somebody that is in the position that you're in, that's really rare. Like that's usually kind of talked about as just kind of what's good. You know, if you're around 23 years, like that's just going to happen. And we also talked about that you are your company and you know, everything in your life, you're not a stranger to choppy waters. And so when the water has gotten deep and drama has shown up from the company or within, you know, relationships in the team, whatever it is, like, what is it that has allowed you to retain important people to your business through thick and thin?
Great question.
Great question. Well, I will say, and just, you know, of course, there's a lot of different relationships that you have with people, but I also had a marriage. I was married to one of the Melias and we broke up, and now I'm still around, which doesn't really happen where the ex-wife sticks around, right? So it has been interesting, as Jim Rohn would say, fascinating at times. However, unconditional love is unconditional love, right? Unconditional love means there's no condition to the love. Like, so, I mean, there's no condition. There's nothing I can say. That means no matter what they do, you still love them. And I still love, you know, my partner, Steve. I'm just not a good partner in that way. I'm a good business partner with him. And the same thing with partners in my business, or the same thing with other people from other teams. Oh, I've been in fight with other people in other teams for sure, right? Over stupid stuff, usually over a prospect, and the prospect's usually wrong. But anyways, that's another story. So, but I keep on going with unconditional love. Now, this wasn't always, this wasn't 23 years. Kim's just this spiritual person that thinks like this all the time. It's come over time. And I know now in the last, you know, good 10 years of being in the industry, 23 years, that don't burn any bridges. Like, and we all are growing. I mean, I joined when I was 23. I joined with some of my best friends that were 20-ish and 30. So now we're growing up in the industry in the same company. It's really cool, but we've had our ups and downs just like brothers and sisters or aunts and uncles or anybody. So I would say just really realizing that, you know, taking your ego out of it, you know, why you love that person anyways in the first place, if they have a different opinion on something or a way of doing things. But I think communicating. So communication is key. You've got to communicate.
We're good at communication. And somebody commented, you speak English extremely well for being in Mexico. That's unbelievable. I think so too. So I just want to give you a little shout out. I hope you speak Spanish equally as well, and Canadian, since you're from there too. But that's very, very exciting. And we believe in the BLTSs over at Contact Mapping. We think that if people feel like they belong, if they feel like they are loved, if they feel they can trust us and that they are safe with us, there is a major chance that they're going to stick around through thick and thin. And you have proven that. And all of you out there, people are going to leave you as quickly as they came in if you don't have those BLTSs set up with your teams. And create that culture of love, that culture of belonging. Let them know that you are there for the long haul. So they set their life up that way, knowing that trouble's going to happen, but they're going to make it through it, right?
That's totally right. And when people know that that's the case, even when you screw up, even when things don't go the way, even when maybe you make a commitment that because of something else that happens outside of your control, you end up breaking those commitments. If you have that foundation, people are they're going to believe you when you say, when you own up to those things, and they're going to stick with you. And that stuff really matters. And this, you hit the nail on the head. Every business is a people business. Network marketing is a people business, exponentially more. And being able to do that, being able to have that foundation of trust and of love and to live into unconditional love, it's one thing to say that. It's another thing it's far more costly, but far more powerful to live it out, isn't it, Kim?
It absolutely is. And, I just know with the relationships I have that people can trust to call me and feel comfortable. They can call me and they can say things to me that they may not have said to another leader or something else or somebody else. And it's so important. It's also important when people aren't doing that well in the business, that you still love them, that you pay attention to them, that you say their name, you acknowledge them. I think, it's easy. It's not easy, but walking down the street, if you smile at somebody, it's easy, but most people don't do that. Like I love here in Mexico, everybody says, buenas tardes, buenos dias. It's always greeting people. And why not? Why not greet people like that? Why not make them feel important? I mean, we know these things, but how often do we do them? It's extremely important.
All right, let's take yet another break, but this is a much longer break. We're going to have some fun through it, and we're going to come back. It's the Genesis Communication Network. Adrian Chenault, Tom Chenault. I love this little Kim Melia, and you are going to understand why right after this break. Stick around.
And we're back. All right. Well done. That was a good.
How about my wife?
Segment,
my wife is
she's
blowing,
all over.
My wife's blowing this up, Kim, on the private text saying, I love her. We've got to go down to Mexico. We got to go visit her. She just loves your vibe. And that's very, very exciting. That's her with the dog.
Oh, cute. Well, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. I'd love to show you this beautiful area of Mexico that hardly anybody knows about.
I know. Yeah. You guys are under the radar. Talk about where in Mexico you guys are.
Oh, I don't know if I should. No, I'm kidding. Okay. There's about 30,000 expats here, within the right season, but I would say about 20,000 all the time. And it's called Lake Chapala. And it is the biggest freshwater lake in Mexico, surrounded by mountains, 75 to 85 degrees every day. No humidity, no dryness. And it's full of the Mexican culture and families and everything mixed in with a bunch of Canadians, a bunch of Americans, and a few Europeans.
Spell it.
Lake and then Chapala, Chapala.
Okay, good.
So cool. And Austin went down there and saw him.
Austin Zuloff, yeah. I saw that.
Yes.
He's such a spoiled brat. I saw him.
Yeah.
We actually live in Ajijic, so I'll spell that Ajijic, which is part of Lake Chapala.
Very cool. Yeah, we love Austin Zuloff too. He's a good kid.
He had a great time here. Really, really fun.
Love that guy.
Yes.
So Kim, how long have you guys been living in Mexico now? Not that long. A couple years?
3 years.
3 years. So I've done the expat thing before. I guess you've been effectively doing the expat thing forever, but even more expat, even more further removed from a lot of the people that you've been connected with physically. how have you been intentional about maintaining relationships when you're not seeing a lot of the people that you had built community with in California and other places you've lived? How have you been intentional about maintaining those relationships?
Again, communication's key. Communication's everything. So just always knowing, paying attention to the numbers, paying attention to people. But to me, we moved at the perfect time because COVID pretty much happened right after that. So everything was on Zoom, right? So we actually turned everything into Zoom. So one of the ways that we communicated mostly with the team was every day at noon, we did a Zoom for 15 minutes. Just, it's called our Team Spirit Zoom. And all it is literally team spirit. Do whatever, maybe success stories, maybe something funny, maybe a video, maybe something about, the orphanage. I mean, we just had constant contact. There was 3 Zooms a day, if not more, that we would be inviting our team to. Now, it wasn't always trainings, obviously, but I think that was the biggest thing for me. And just, just using as much videos and stuff like that and text messages and things like that. But people love that we can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's intriguing.
Anything like off the wall that you found really worked great on doing Zooms and stuff like that people just loved, that was goofy, or that was kind of a silly idea that now everybody loves, or anything like that?
What did I do? Well, no, I don't know. I'm trying to think. We did some Family Feud. We played some really funky games. We did bingo, Family Feud. Oh, there was something else. We did another game show. We did all sorts of just fun things. We just did Have Wine With Us. That's not really off the wall, but we really did some fun game shows. And, we had people really playing on there, and it was fun. It was funky. It was different.
So here's the deal. Inside of COVID, and there's a guy out there, I can't think of his name, but Dr. Ben Hardy has it in his book, Who Not How, that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety. It is true human connection. And living inside of that and watching all these people completely isolated into COVID, watching the rise in addiction on all fronts, the rise in depression on all fronts, it isn't like it's a sales tactic or a business tactic. It is a human being tactic that you're doing right now, whereby you are keeping people literally alive with the way that you build relationships and love and connection. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. All of you need to pay attention to that. And the way that you do that is go get the contact mapping app, and we will turn you into the great rememberer. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just scroll down on my Facebook wall, because somebody literally wrote a song about it called Ellen Loveless, and it was performed by Nima Warfield and Alexandra Pena, and it is going to make your pants want to get up and dance. We're coming back to the show right now. And we're back. It's the Leadership Legacy Radio Show, or actually the Legacy Leadership Radio Show with Adrian Chenault and Tom Chenault. And I did that on purpose, but I did it well. And I hope you're having a fun time, Adrian, running this show. And now we're talking about what we're talking about. Yep. We're going to go deep and talk about her orphanage and some people that gave some money to it, and just catch people doing things right. Take it away.
That's exactly it. So this is the Legacy Leadership Show, and what we're really talking about is, I think great leaders think in terms of the lasting impact that they're creating. And so, Kim, I want you to talk about what is your vision of the lasting impact that you're creating, and then talk about how this whole thing came to be, because I think it's just such an incredible story.
I didn't know that I would find my purpose in my industry, my company. I thought my purpose was, really what I was doing. But I think there's always something a little bit more that we have inside of us, whether it's writing a book or a hit song or whatever, doing something. And I'm just really blessed that this came into my life, and I'll tell you about it in a second, but how it came into my life to know that I, along with, of course, a whole bunch of other people, but I've spearheaded the project now for over 10 years and going there and bringing groups to the orphanage and whatnot. But to know that we're changing the legacy, even if it's one child there in Guatemala, it brings, tears to my eyes, and it just warms my heart, because again, you know, how are we ever going to change what happens in the world, in their world, if we don't give one kid an opportunity and give another kid an opportunity and give another kid an opportunity to change their legacy? So part of me, you know, changing our legacy and what we do with At Work, Play, Love, has turned into really a ripple effect. And I think that that to me is the biggest thing of seeing it's not about what we do now, it's about what these kids are doing, and that they're going to continue to do what they see and how they are receiving unconditional love. So how it all really started was my business partner was on an airplane after an event, and somebody was wearing a bunch of pulseras, which are bracelets, a whole bunch of them. And he's like, why are you wearing so many bracelets? And the guy said, well, I just talked about it. You know, I was talking about an orphanage I support in Guatemala. He said, tell me a little bit more about it. And we were looking to support an organization that we could put our money directly to, that we would know that 100% or close to the 100% of the money would go to. We've done stuff with Make-A-Wish Foundation, Boys and Girls Club, all fantastic organizations. But what we found as a team was we weren't getting the impact that we wanted to be able to fundraise again, right? And again and again to see what they have really done. And so when he met this gentleman on an airplane and they showed him a video, literally just a video of kids, and then my partner Steve and I went out to the orphanage just about 2 months later to see if it was real. Because it's one thing to show pictures, it's one thing to have videos of kids, and my partner ended up stroking them a check and showing them what, you know, they got from it. But we said, well, this might not even be real. We don't know. So we just hopped on a plane. We brought our niece and nephew out with us. She had just graduated from NY Film School. So she filmed the whole thing, put a video together. But long story short, we went there. As soon as the plane landed and the wheels hit the ground, I got chills so bad, so good, I should say, so good, that I knew I was at my second home, or I was at my original home where I'm supposed to be. It was eerie in a sense because it's a third world country. I mean, there's people with shotguns everywhere, gangs and cartel and you name it. But I was not afraid. Knock on wood, I'm aware. Okay, it's not that I'm not aware, but I wasn't afraid. And I didn't know what I would have in common with 75 boys, little boys. I don't have children of my own. I was never blessed to. And I really was kind of freaked out, but I was excited. So when we went there, you know, we met the owners. They're amazing. They're like family now to us. We go and spend Christmas with them, which we are tomorrow. And I know their aunts and their uncles and their mothers and all their kids and stuff like that. And it really, truly is a blessing. And so we have done that now for 10 years. But for the first 2 years, it was just a boys' orphanage. And then we ask them what they want. That's a difference between another nonprofit and ours. And I know there's a lot of great ones, but a lot of people go out to different places, especially second world, third world countries, and they want to like say, you guys need this, you need to do this, and trust me, there's a lot of needs that we think they need. But what they really need is they need to tell me what they need. What's their immediate need in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next year? And the owner of the orphanage said, we have this land and we'd love to build a girls' orphanage. So not only are the boys going to be at an orphanage, at least they have their sisters beside them. They still have family. And I said, sounds amazing to me. And they went ahead and did the drawing of it. I never even saw it, the architect and everything. And they thought it would cost around $72,000, which we raised $72,000 in 60 days. This is where was when everything was going down sour with our economy, if you guys remember, a few short years ago. And people would say to me, Kim, you're not gonna be able to raise money for kids in Guatemala. Look at the kids here in America. Look at the kids in Canada. Look at the kids here. And I was like, well, my heart has no borders. Our hearts should have no borders. It's not like I only give to this kid in Guatemala. I mean, let's just think globally. Let's think a little bigger than that. And so ever since then, we raised that money, but it turned out to be $150,000 to build the girls' orphanage. And it's a princess palace. Yes, it's a princess palace. It's the only princess palace orphanage in the entire world that I know of. And it's because these girls, there's 30 of them. These girls are beaten, abused, left alone. I mean, you name it, just horrible things. And if they can live a little bit of a fairy tale life and actually, you know, dress up as princesses once or twice a year, live in this palace and feel loved, feel cared for, feel just amazing about the people who are there and that they have a future, then that's what we want to do. And that's what we've created. We helped the boys renovate their orphanage in a superhero orphanage. So we painted all superheroes and did a bunch of stuff for them. And that's kind of the theme. They're the superheroes and the girls are the princesses. And the truth is, of course, it's not really fairy tale. When we go to the orphanage tomorrow, there's going to be a girl or a boy or a couple of them with a really bad cold or a flu or something going on that's in their life. And they don't have somebody to hug them and hold them at night and just, sit and watch a movie with them or cry with them. There's only one teacher for, 10 to 15 kids. So I know I've gone on a lot. So maybe you want to ask.
Well, that's pretty good. Richard Brook just told me he's donating $500 to Work Play Love. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Isn't he a doll? Yeah, I'll match that. So there's no problem. So now you got $1,000.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Nothing. It's a great world we live in.
Yeah.
So, I want to keep talking about this, but for our friends on the radio, it's workplaylove.org is where you can go learn more about this. And we'll keep sharing because there's a couple other really cool things going on. But I know there's a bunch of you hanging on, listening, going, okay, well, tell me where I go find this thing. So it's workplaylove.org. But Kim, you went down there, you go and you see this thing. And did you know then that this was like the rest of your life? Like, when did that happen where it went from this is a project that we're going to raise some money for to something that is so central to your heart?
The moment I landed, I knew I was there for a purpose, like I said, but the moment I met the kids and Karen and Eduardo, which are the owners of the orphanage, and they're there every day, I knew then. I just knew this is my kids. This is not my kids. It's our kids. It's all of our kids. But this is where I belong to be able to help as much as I can. And I knew that our team would be behind it. Our family would be behind it. And I knew that there would be lots of family and friends that wanted to be behind it as well. So when you first hug a kid, when they hug you, actually they hug you first, Adrian. They come up to you. I mean, they attracted to you. So you basically will know which kids are attracted to you. They all love you, but there's certain ones that just don't leave you from the moment that you get there. And you're just like, okay. And here's what's interesting. The lady, Karen, who owns the orphanage, who started it when she was 16 years old, started doing volunteer work and doing an orphanage. She, a little boy went up to her, and this is her story. A little boy went up to her when she was volunteering at school, like on a field trip, right? At an orphanage, said, hey, are you here just one time? Or are you going to be here forever? I mean, can you imagine what your heart? And of course, she was probably playing with the kid all day. And she said, I'm here forever. And that was her calling. It just gives me shivers now. That's how it was for me. It didn't happen where a kid said, are you coming back? Although I've seen kids say that to the people that we've brought there for sure. And they've come back. But that's the type of people they are. They, to me, are my mentors, my angels. They are spiritual gurus. They are amazing people. If I could be a half an ounce of what Karen and Eduardo are in the orphanage, I know that I've led a very good life and leaving a legacy.
Yeah. So
I was just Richard Brooks commenting like crazy. He's trying to get me to bid it up. Here's what I heard. Cheapskate, and so am I. I heard that Brian Carruthers not only gave you 10 grand and presented you with a check that I saw, but I brought it up to you and you told me that he came back with even more money. And you know what I love is people doing that. They're recognizing that their contribution is better in your hands than in the hands of a bunch of people with a bunch of expenses that they're raking before they give it to the people. You guys are putting 110% of every dollar that comes in into those girls and boys. And I love that. When I announced that you were going to be on the show, I had a great, I looked all over, and you're a very attractive woman, and I'm sure you were a model and all that bull money. But I'll tell you what, I didn't want that picture. I wanted that picture of you all sweaty down there on that bench with those kids, because we saw your heart. And that's what I love about you. And I love about the promise of this profession, because if you work at it hard enough for long enough, there's a chance, not a good chance, just a chance that you're going to have at some point more money than you have month. And to meet somebody that's done it and give it back is beyond belief. And I love you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Building the orphanage too, we received a $20,000 donation by Mr. Self and Mr. Humes, which are pretty big in this industry too, Darnell and Michael Humes. And they donated 20 grand that helped us build the orphanage.
Yeah.
So we've received some very, very humbling gifts from people like you guys right now. And I'm really stoked about that, because there's a lot of nonprofits during this COVID era that we call it that went out of business.
Yeah.
Kim, it's awesome. You know, these big gifts are really cool. But you told me when we were chatting before the show about something that is not a lot of money that could just be incredible for these kids. Talk about what you guys are doing at Christmas time.
I'm so excited. So I've taken the kids shopping before, but it's always like they need jeans and they need shorts and underwear, you know, like this is the things that they have to get. And so this time we're taking all the kids.
Look at the joy.
Except for the little ones. The little ones we're buying their presents because that would be a little crazy. We're not there long enough. But we're taking the mediums and grandes. We call them the medianos and grandes. We're taking them shopping on a shopping spree. $40 per kid is a shopping spree that they will buy whatever they want. And of course, that's $40 there is like having $100 to $120 probably for a kid, which is a significant amount. And we will go to a consignment store because that's what we do. And they'll have a lot of fun. So whether it's shoes or toys or jewelry or you know, whatever they want, they can have whatever they want. It's going to be a blast. So it's $40 a kid to take one kid or two kids, however many kids you want on a shopping spree.
So awesome. So go to workplaylove.org right now. Throw in $40 and give one of these kids the greatest Christmas of their life. And I can't imagine how beautiful that is going to be. So we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back after the break here with Kim Melia. So stick around. That is so cool, Kim.
What a segment that was.
Nailed it.
You know what I love about you is the joy behind your eyes. I mean, you are just pouring that. I mean, we know that this is authentic and that's what we're looking for here. And you're showing people after a lot of hard work for a long time that it pays off at the end of the rainbow here. And thank you for that. So take it away, Adrian.
Thank you. That's a very, very sweet compliment. Thanks.
Fact check.
Man, so I want to talk about the Great Rememberer for a second, just because I think that.
Why don't you play it?
I don't know that I can get there that fast.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to talk. You try to play with it. So here's the deal, and we'll get in trouble with Tom Sheffield. I'll take the heat. So here's the deal. This is so funny because this Nemo Warfield and his wife and his girlfriend, fiance, wife to be, Alexandria Pena, found out that somebody had made a video for us, written a song for us about remembering, and they did the words, and it's going to be amazing for you right now. So we want you to see it because I want each and every one of you to become the great rememberer, and we've got time to do it. I think. Do you? Yeah. Okay, it's going to blow your mind. So you guys want to watch this because this was the nicest thing, the nicest compliment anybody could have paid to Adrian and I and any of you great rememberers out there. Take it away, Adrian.
Oh, yes, I'm the great rememberer. The name that I gave to myself. Writing on mine, it just came to mind. It's something that I've always felt. Oh, yes, I'm the great rememberer. So how are you, kids? Jane and Joe. And that coffee made you. All it takes is an act that takes time. Let's connect, let's breathe when we both just feel reality. Feel the light that's so mine. And remember, you always mine. Now here is the secret on how you should start
You must follow your brain and just hide. Oh, yes. Hear the great remember.
Gosh, I love these two.
All it takes is an act that's so sweet. Follow-ups are set up systematically. Are you free to chat Monday next week? That's just 48 hours from now. Then we got a day for next week.
Love it.
Enough said. These guys did that out of the kindness of their heart and surprised us with it. Didn't charge us a penny. All we gave them was a great Rememberer t-shirt, and we didn't even have them invented yet. We had to make the shirt. And what a day. And it just goes to show you that this business is so beautiful because all we want to do is be remembered. And there is such joy in remembering. And that's how Kim has been so successful, and actually how Adrian's been so successful. And I haven't done bad. So that's pretty cool.
I like your Richard Simmons outfit too.
Oh, aren't they adorable?
So awesome. All right. So we're going to come back here we'll do it at 15 seconds past. So hold on.
And we're back. It is the Legacy Leadership Radio Show with Adrian Chenault and Tom Chenault. And it's a great day here, Adrian. We have had one of the best shows we've ever had. And it is all heart. And I love that. And we're supposed to be deep thinkers here. Instead, we were deep lovers. And she said something that was so profound earlier that I wanted to talk about, but I never got a word in edgewise. So I'm going to talk now. And that is about unconditional love. There's no negotiation around that. It's either unconditional love or it's not. And I like to play like I'm an unconditional love kind of person. And as she was talking about that, I realized that I'm not. And it's something to strive for. And I want you to all think from there. Like, where are you being conditional in love and where are you being unconditional in love? And make it a goal to be an unconditional love person. And that's a little bit how my wife lives her life. And it's pretty doggone cool. And I'm so arrogant and so shallow that I don't even try to strive to that until I heard that come out of your mouth. But that's a beautiful thing. And you're all that way too. I mean, not me. So
Which way? Which way is he?
So here's the question inside of that. Because I noticed the exact same thing. I'm really glad you brought that up because you mentioned it early talking about your network marketing business. And then you repeated it again, talking about these kids. And so unconditional love, that's not something that comes out of everybody's mouth. How did that become such a core value for you?
You know, I think being at the orphanage too, I'm a big Michael Singer fan. So for those of you who are Michael Singer
Surrender
fans,
Experiment, Untethered Soul, Autobiography of a Yogi, and now his newest book, Beyond the Untethered Soul. I haven't ever heard of him.
so he's Untethered Soul. I actually received that from my business partner, Mike, about 11 years ago. And it was right before I was going through my divorce, and I picked it up, and the first couple of pages I didn't get. So I put it down. But when I picked it up, when I was going through my divorce, it made all sense. I don't know why, but it was just the right time for me, right? So that just being as one of my gurus, but also being, the biggest thing is being at the orphanage. And I'm not an orphan. I have my mother and my father, who I call my father today, but I grew up in a household of abuse till I was 3. And my mom, thank goodness, left my father, my biological father, and I met my real father. And he really taught me a lot of unconditional love. I mean, he took on 3 kids. He had a Corvette, and then he turned it to Corvette to a station wagon for 3 kids, and has been my father ever since, even though my parents split up. So he's really, and my mother, of course, but somebody who's a stranger coming into your life that now is, you know, has never left you. Even when they got divorced, he's never left me. He's always unconditional love me. And so is my mom. And so they've been a very good role model for me. So when I went to the orphanage too, and remember this is 10 years ago, like, I mean, there's snotty noses, it's lice, they're dirty, they pee themselves. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to look at that side of it, like how, like, I remember one time actually going to the orphanage with my mom, and she hadn't gone there for the first couple of years, but then she ended up living in Guatemala for a few years, which was amazing. We were picking out lice. This is something common, not so common anymore, thank goodness, but it was common that you see the girls picking out lice. I was like, Mom, we need to help them. And she was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, what do you mean doing what? You're above picking out lice of this beautiful little princess girl? And she was kind of upset at me at first, but of course, the next thing you know, she was all in there loving it, right? Because we were trying to do the rice vinegar because they had too many chemicals. My point is, unconditional love is unconditional. These kids come from nothing, and they're battered and abused and used, and they want to sit on your lap and they want to hug you and they want to do all this stuff. And if you can get over this facade of on the outside, then you can start to look at what's truly inside. Here's the thing. If we truly listen to people's stories, we would love them.
There you go. Brene Brown. So the name of the game, all of you. And what's so funny is, as well as your sidekick knows John Milton Fogg, I was the one that turned him on to the surrender experiment. And I'm very proud of that. So
Very
thank you very
cool.
much, folks. That's pretty cool.
That
And
is
go ahead.
amazing.
Who's our guest next week? Say goodbye.
Yeah, we got a little bit
Oh,
more time.
oh yeah.
But
Good.
but Ivan Meisner and Brian Hilliard are our guests next week, and it is going to be one heck of a show.
Yeah.
So
Brian Hilliard went to Duke. He co-wrote a book with Ivan Meisner. He's not as well known, but the guy is a flat out beast. We love him. Ivan just got home from the Antarctic. The week before that, he was down on Richard Branson's Necker Island, and he's going to space. So like Kim, he is a guest to be reckoned with. And so is Brian, right?
yeah, no doubt about it on either one of them. And man,
And then Richard Brooke gave us Joe Soto the following week. And that was, he's going to be something else too.
Absolutely. But Kim, what you're doing with these orphans, what you're doing, building a business that brings people into that vision together with you to feel a part of it, and to just, I'm sure you couldn't have even imagined that this would all flow and gel and come together in the way that it has. But I'm so grateful to you for staying with that vision, for staying with it through a divorce and through all the things that, so many things that could have knocked you off of that course, but that course was so important for you to do. And I think for every one of us to be able to look at that and to say, how do I find something that is bigger than me, that I put myself into, and then I help others to come along that journey, and we do a lot of good in the world, and we make a lot of money, and we have a lot of fun, and we create all of this goodness together. That is such the beauty and the model and the promise of what's possible in network marketing. And so thanks for giving us an example of that, Kim, and for giving us a look under the hood. You've been awesome, and we love you. Thanks for being with us today.
See everybody next week. It's been the Legacy Leadership Radio Show. Thank you. Bye, Kimmy.
Thanks, guys. Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Stay here. You were great. That was a